With all the bullshit going on in the gaming world this week, you would think that E3 was happening. Well, E3's dead, Call of Duty still sucks, Valve is a goddamn criminal, Japanese RPGs are back, and a cartoon ass is getting more attention than Kim Kardashian. What the fuck is going on?
Here we go!
Where do we even start? Take a deep breath, kid, because we have a lot to get out this week. Activision is back at it again with the seemingly endless supply of terrible, awful ideas for ways to somehow keep Call of Duty fresh and new to consumers. This time, unless this is some stupid April Fool's joke, they're putting it in space. Why? Because there's nowhere else to go anymore.
Yeah, there's nowhere left to take this franchise. They've already done dogs, they've already done Kevin Spacey, they've already done robots, jetpacks, Prohibition-era zombies. What is left to heave at the waiting mouths of their teenage fan base than goddamn Space Wars? Despite the very glaring fact that a competitive first-person shooter space war, space soldier game already exists called Halo.
Oh yeah.
Eventually the two will just circle jerk each other enough that they become one game.
But until then, we have this news about a Call of Duty in space.
Yeah.
And of course, it's from Infinity Ward, a developer whose last entry into the franchise was a chunky turd called Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yep.
Which was arguably the worst game with the Call of Duty name attached to it that had ever been made.
Yes.
And again, maybe this is a joke. But at this point, the series has gone so crazy with its kamikaze-style approach to game evolution that it's believable.
Yeah. And just as one former monument to gaming culture fails, others fall with it. This time, it's Valve who's taking the L from consumers, more specifically the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, or ACCC.
Oi!
This past week, the ACCC found Valve guilty of breaking Australian consumer law and will be forced to provide relief, or money, to the local government.
How many dollary dues?
All the dollary dues.
So why the hell is this happening?
Oi!
Because Valve wasn't offering a refund policy to Australian consumers and claimed that they didn't need to because they weren't officially conducting business in Australia.
Yeah.
But the courts, down there, down under, decided that despite the fact that Australian internet speed is shit and none of the cool mature rated games even get released there because they're surprisingly more conservative than Americans, Valve actually was doing business down under.
Yeah, the courts rules that Valve has one of three options. Fly Gabe Newell down to receive a kick in the bum with a giant boot, willingly eat a Vegemite sandwich and pretend to enjoy it,
Ugh.
or pay hefty fines. Obviously, they're going with the latter. But that's not all the trouble Valve's been facing this week, because in a strange turn of events that left the company's Steam platform with egg on its face, a 16-year-old was able to hack it.
Crikey! Honestly, in situations of hacking like this, the person's age shouldn't really come into play. People way younger than this have done way more damage. I mean, in 1988, 11-year-old Dade Zero Cool Murphy was arrested and charged with crashing 1,500 computer systems in a single day and causing a single-day 7-point drop in the New York Stock Exchange.
Even though I'm pretty sure that's just the starting plot of the film Hackers.
Which is based on a true story.
I agree. But sure, anything's possible. This kid, on the other hand, who goes by the moniker Ruby Meow, used an exploit to get a game on the Steam store without anyone at Valve ever noticing. The game is called Watch Paint Dry, and is ironically more interesting than a Call of Duty game set in space.
Oi! Now, thanks to his post on the website Medium,
Yeah.
Valve was made aware of the exploit and has not only fixed it, but also allowed the young hacker to keep his account, and they're encouraging him to find more bugs. Which sounds very charming until you realize that they are essentially using him for a critical job and not paying him for it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Valve.
Whoa.
Good for you.
Good for you. Real smart move, Valve. Now, Valve is not the only company in hot water this week, because despite their previously sterling record, it was finally Blizzard's turn to catch some flack, and it's all because of this.
A big old butt. A
Not
female
even a-
butt.
Not even a big old butt.
Yeah, it's a pretty normal sized butt
Yeah.
for a cartoon at least. Completely proportionate to the rest of the character's body. I mean, I think it just might be the butt crack that people are upset about. It's a very tight pair of pants. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Isn't it on the user to decide whether something is sexual to them specifically or not? There are probably dozens of people out there with a dirty shoe fetish who might be attracted to this character and her disgusting ass feet.
Yeah. Anyways, this all started because of one fan who posted some complaints to the Overwatch forums, where they said things like, it just reduces Tracer to another bland female sex symbol, and this post says to the player base, oh, we've got all these cool, diverse characters, but at any moment we're willing to reduce them to sex symbols to help boost our investment game.
I mean, does she like finger herself? Like,
No, she just stands there.
Does she show her nips?
It's a victory pose.
Does she lick her lips?
No.
She do a little pantomime hand job?
No.
So what's the problem?
She has a butt.
Oh. You're right. They're not allowed to have butts in video games.
It's true.
Well, there's certainly an argument to be made about inclusion in gaming. I'm not denying that, but there is a big difference between a victory pose for this character and something you would see in Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball. An actual, sexist game. The major problem stems from the fact that the U.S. and a lot of other parts of the world are just so stupid and uptight about sexuality that it legitimately offends people in this country to witness any kind of sexual expression, so much that even something as simple as a video game character having a butt crack because they're wearing skin-tight sportswear causes enough emotional distress that there's a call to action for devs to change it.
And by the way, they're taking it out of the game.
You win.
In a post to the forums, the game's director Jeff Kaplan said, "We'll replace the pose. We want everyone to feel strong and heroic in our community. The last thing we want to do is make someone feel uncomfortable, underappreciated, or misrepresented." So there you go. I mean, at least when Donald Trump is president, he's gonna sign an executive order that all video games are banned unless they're sequels to Leisure Suit Larry.
We need to bring Larry back.
Yeah.
What happened to Leisure Suit Larry?
He's a great role model.
Video games used to be great.
He went out and bought condoms before he had sex with that prostitute. We need to learn from Larry.
Well, that story should give you all plenty to argue about in the comments section. But now let's talk about real gaming news.
Yeah.
The PS 4.5 or PS 4K or whatever is actually happening.
Yeah.
And according to the Wall Street Journal, will be announced before the launch of the PSVR. Although I'm sure they will drop some news about it at E3, right? Or is E3 just dead to fucking everyone now?
It might be. Anyway, Star Wars Battlefront is getting so desperate to keep people playing its game that it's just handing out free in-game currency now.
Wow.
If you log on this weekend, you'll get 5,000 space credits, or whatever the fuck those are, despite the fact that you need hundreds of hours of game time and billions of credits to unlock any cool skin at all in the game. So just go play something else instead.
Maybe I'll play it. I bought it, I played 10 hours, and I promptly forgot I owned it until right now. But maybe
Get those space bucks.
Get those space bucks,
Yeah.
baby. Moving on, Oculus founder Palmer Luckey was able to take enough time away from his shift at Trader Joe's to hand deliver the first retail version of the Oculus Rift to a man in Alaska. Didn't have time to change his uniform though.
Nope. He just took the name tag off and gave the Oculus away.
When I found out that he's still in his mid-20s,
Yeah.
it shocked me to my core. He dresses like a 50-year-old dad.
Yeah, he sure does. He looks like he's always on vacation.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's a bunch of new endgame shit coming out on April 12th for The Division. We could tell you what that is, but just go look at everything Destiny has done in the past few years and imagine what that would look like on the post-apocalyptic streets of New York City, and you're probably right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's a new Final Fantasy coming out. Final Fantasy 15 will finally force thousands of man-children to slide their tiny shriveled penises out of their life-size manga body pillows long enough to sit down and check out all the new features like talking angrily on a cell phone.
But that's enough about gaming news. Let's get into a gaming review with our pal Shibby, whose face is as long as his pointless reviews. Shibby, I swear, I like this game. Be nice.
Recently released, Trackmania Turbo.
Yes,
Published by your favorite developer, Ubisoft.
they're doing a great job this year.
Actually, Ubisoft, I always pronounce it wrong. Is exactly what we, the gamers, Ricky, do not want. This review sadly comes on the coattails of the Stardew Valley review, which I did last time, which did all gaming a service. However, this sad console port, Ricky, is complete garbage. With 0 dedicated servers, 0 server customization, it's not a surprise that both Xbox and PS4 versions are rated higher. Sure! The game looks great, Ricky. However, the UI is lacking. Readability on crucial elements like checkpoint splits suck. There's no custom music. The leaderboards are gone.
Custom music, what is this, 2001?
What the fuck? I want to listen to Lil Wayne.
Put your headphones on, you fucking scrub.
Lick it like a lollipop, baby. It also needs Uplay to play on the PC, which is
They
what I
all
play. On Xbox, you need Uplay? Or what do
Yeah,
you...
but you can sign in for bonus points and to collect credits.
Wow, that's just terrible. So it needs Uplay to work, and that is instantly minus points in my category, because goddamn it, when I'm reviewing a game, those points don't come easy. Unlike Ricky, who does come easy. But the game is literally a 1-to-1.
Did you just roast me?
I tried to, I don't know if it worked. Viewers, let me know. The game is literally a 1-to-1 console port, and being a PC Master Racer, it's frustrating that we are literally going in reverse instead of racing towards the checkered flag and attempting to advance the racing game genre to the pole position over garbage genres like the MMO FPS of The Division. This release is essentially removing a lot of community elements. That is what made Trackmania, that whole franchise, special over Forza, lol, Need for Speed, lol, Gran Turismo, also lol. The
Don't make
game
a drive club.
Midnight. There's a lot of them.
Oh, they went out of business.
That's fine. The game was delayed and was still released in its current state. It's a complete shame. And Ubisoft and your $40 game, it's not good enough. 0 out of 10. It's not Burnout Paradise. Have you played Burnout, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Great game.
Best racing of all
I
time.
agree. This should not be $40. This should be $20.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks, Shits.
Whatever. I tried. I'm out.
Thanks, Jimmy. Sounds like a ton of fun. But for our real review this week, let's take another look at why Call of Duty in space is not only a terrible idea, it's a terrible idea that could totally happen because it's being developed by Infinity Ward. Here's a review from their last COD game, Ghosts, from user John Baxter, who titled his review, Worst Game in the Franchise. He said,
This is by far the worst Call of Duty game I've ever played. I no longer play it simply because it isn't fun. The mechanics of the game are so bad that it just isn't worth bothering with. Ranking and leveling systems make no sense and give no sense of ranking or accomplishment. Maps are poorly designed and lead to nothing but sitting and waiting for people to come by. Perks are out of balance and don't work well with the game. I'm selling my copy. This may be the end of this franchise.
1 star. Sadly, his prediction was wrong, and now look where we are. If only people would have listened to John Baxter, we wouldn't be in space.
Hire this man.
Hire this man.
John Baxter's got a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, he sure does. Anyways, check out our other videos over here. We got a video, Weekly Weird News, where Puerto Ricans are doing some weird funeral stuff. And then we also have, I don't know, what else we have?
On Tech Tuesday, the Oculus Rift is here. There's some more game news for
Yeah.
you. Is it good though? Does it suck? Guess you'll just have to watch.
And then watch something else over here, and we'll see you guys never again because this show's canceled. April Fools. We're gonna keep going forever.
Boo. Boo. Boo.